All right, we are live. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Lauren Martin Clements, and I'm the head of marketing at Pipestream. Today, we have another installment of the Beyond the Bot series. In this series, we explore the often overlooked aspects of implementing digital assistants and chatbots. You'll hear from various members of our in-house team of experts as they offer insights to enhancing customer engagement and streamlining operations. As a self-diagnosed data nerd, I am super excited about our chat today. Today's webinar is titled Measuring Chatbot Performance and CX Goals, and we'll talk about how to accurately measure the success of your chatbot and how to be sure that those goals align with your business goals. Our CX expert today is Reid Harris, Senior Data Analyst here at Pipestream. Reid has been at Pipestream for 3 years, and he studied supply chain management, specializing in forecasting models at Kansas University, and holds several data science certifications. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you, Reid, for a bit of a presentation, and then we can open it up for questions towards the end. I encourage everyone watching to send questions throughout, but let's go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that warm introduction. I think I'll take you with me to all my meetings going forward so that I can just be introduced exactly that way.
Not a problem. I can do that. I can absolutely support that.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So today we're going to talk just a little bit about making sure that you can get your chatbot to meet your business goals exactly as you were saying. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen right now. And can we see? Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
we can see.
Awesome. So yeah, that is today's presentation, measuring chatbot performance versus our customer experience goals. So hopping right into it. The first thing I think that is important here when you're walking into a new chatbot project is just understanding the common performance metrics around chatbots that are going to be pretty industry wide. Some common data points that we see across almost every industry are things like user engagement rates, which is, when people launch the chatbot, how willing are they to actually engage in it? Agent escalation, this is what portion of users are asking for a live agent and foregoing the automation part. CSAT survey scores is just that, asking them how their experience was. And the reason I go through some of these benchmarks is not really to inform you on what they are and what they can do, but rather what their limitations are. You find that a lot of times high user engagement rate does not necessarily mean the users were helped, right? When it comes to escalation rates in particular, this is a really context specific metric, meaning that it really depends on your use case when you're building your bot, what you want the user experience to be like. So, I've worked with clients who their number one business goal in launching a chatbot is to decrease call center call-ins. And so call deflection is their number one business use case, meaning they really need a low live agent escalation rate to prove that the bot is giving a good ROI. However, I've also worked with clients who are trying to generate sales leads. And once the automated portion of the bot has qualified them as a good lead, we want them to escalate. So seeing escalation rates climbing over the month is actually a really good thing. So I think a lot of the danger is to get into these industry-wide metrics and make the mistake of thinking that you're just looking for these numbers to go up and down, and that's all that matters. Lastly, CSAT, I would also put a big limitation on that. I see a lot of clients coming in that they're really, really focused on CSAT because in other departments and other business processes in their organization, CSAT is a very reliable metric. Unfortunately, with a chatbot experience, a lot of people, part of the reason why you do a chatbot is for speed and automation, and the user doesn't require as much buy-in as they would when they're picking up the phone, getting on wait, talking to a person, so on and so forth, which means that in their experience, they're a lot less likely to leave a CSAT score, meaning you don't really reach any type of statistical significance around you have 7 people left to survey, then that's not enough information. And so relying on these common data points can be really, really limiting. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about for the rest of this conversation, is how to get around those limitations. And so this is kind of the bulk of what I want to talk about, is aligning chatbot analytics with your business goals. And something you'll hear kind of as a theme as I keep going is that we really want to understand the user and the ROI of the project, as opposed to understanding just the session performance. So to get into that, breaking it down a little bit, I have 3 steps that it takes to really get to the right level of analytics. The first one is really clearly defining your business goals. It goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. There are no 2 businesses that are the same, so there's no one-size-fits-all analytics. We service a number of companies in multiple verticals, and those organizations that fall within the same verticals and even have close to the same use case oftentimes are trying to answer very different business questions. They have different pain points inside of their organization, and they need insights that are unique to them. So defining those business goals early in the project, I think, is a huge part. Don't wait until the chatbot is completely built and live in production, and then we go, oh, hey, let's get some analytics on it. Because these type of reporting mechanisms need to be built in under the hood into the actual solution, and running just the second that it goes live. So don't put it off. Define your business goals early, and decide what you want reporting on. The next step would be getting your quick and easy wins. And this is when you map high-level metrics to your business goals. Some of those high-level metrics are referring to the ones that I just went through. So things like escalation rates, conversion rates, just revenue collected, those kind of single data points that are not multidimensional, but they do correspond with your use case. So just really quickly, if you're looking for high call deflection, escalation rates, that's great. Generating sales leads, conversion rate, signing up, how much revenue do we collect? These are the quick wins that you can get just in your first day of dashboard building. Step 3 is when you get into the fun part. So when you're a data nerd like me, this is the part that you can get really excited about, and the part that I get excited about. And so in these upcoming slides, I kind of want to show you how we get into this third step of optimizing our data to help our clients reach their business goals. So that leads me into a couple of case studies and examples. I work better with examples. I think everybody does. So easiest to just hop in and show you a couple of situations that I've had with clients they were launching their own chatbot. They had certain hopes, dreams, and fears for where their chatbot would go, and we needed to get them the numbers for what they needed. So the first use case, we had a client who their chatbot was launched. Part of it was to try and automate account cancellation in a way that would discourage users from canceling. And so they had a number of save offers that they gave, meaning in this flow context, I just kind of spelled it out. The user expresses the desire to cancel their account. And then one of the many save offers that they gave was they were offered 1 month free if they keep their membership, basically a prorated discount on their next year's subscription. And originally, we were doing a lot of reporting around if somebody goes down this cancel flow, this conversational flow, and they express desire to cancel their account, what is the likelihood that they take the save offer? And what is the likelihood that they say, nah, I'd rather continue and cancel my account? We were reporting on that, and all was well until the client made a really important call out, and it kind of helped me revolutionize the way that I help clients. And they said, well, people who choose the save offer is not necessarily people who are saved from cancellation. The goal is to save our users from canceling. It's not just to get a good percentage of sessions that didn't cancel in the chatbot. Meaning, who are the people who are saved in the chatbot, but then they pick up the phone and cancel their account anyways with their call service? Or who are the people who are saved in the chatbot, but then even come back 1 month later after their free trial is done and use our chatbot to go ahead and cancel? We don't want to count that person as being one session saved, one session canceled. We want to count that as one user canceled. And that makes a really big difference for our clients. When you're building chatbots, a lot of times we have clients involved in the building process. They're actually always pretty involved, pretty closely in the building process. When you're building something, it's easy to get in this trap of being like, oh, is the thing doing what we want it to do every session that it launches? And that's great, but it's really not. It's really not answering your business questions. So I'll kind of show you a quick visualization. And this is what I call understanding the session versus understanding your users. Understanding the session looks like this. Somebody wanted to cancel. They were offered 1 month free. Some of them accepted, some of them declined. You're answering the question in one session, how likely is a user to cancel? This is not bad. This is a start. Again, this is something that you can figure out in the first few days of dashboard building. But understanding the user takes a lot more effort, but is a lot more fruitful. So the question we want to answer here is, over a customer's lifetime, how effective is that save offer? And this includes two situations that I mentioned before. How many are revisiting the solution and canceling their account? How many called into customer account care and canceled their account anyways? And in order to answer this, we worked really closely with the client on what kind of data they would like us to collect on their users. And we keep a very, very, very limited data table that serves essentially as a really small CRM extension of our client's CRM system. And it tracks member IDs as they come in and authenticate to the solution, which means that over time, we can look at all of the historical data and say, hey, John Doe came in February. He wanted to cancel. He took the save offer. Now, at any time in the next month or two, did he log in again and cancel his account in a different chat session? And being able to merge those chat sessions over time is the only real way that you can create a holistic view of the efficacy of the save offer over their entire lifetime. Now that helps for that first arrow, revisited solution to canceled account. We can understand the people who revisited the solution to do that. But in order to figure out the people who called customer care, as someone who is wanting to build a chatbot for your company, you don't always want to share all of your information with your chatbot provider, and that's totally understandable. And so one important thing is making sure that whoever is making your chatbot and reporting on it is able to get extremely exportable data that's very blendable with what you currently have. And so in order to answer that second part of understanding the user, that was a situation where we actually just set up a pipeline to drop, and it's a safe file transfer server to drop it into their database so that they can kind of live on their end see the cancellations that are happening in our chatbot, just like they would see them live in their call center. So that's one use case. I was really excited about it. When we first started reporting, we found that about 97% of the people, we expected about 90% of them. Well, let me say this. In the end, 93% of the people who accepted the save offer never came back and canceled. So we were able to not just say, each session, this is how many people didn't cancel, but our chatbot is actually saving, or the people that it saves, it's truly saving 93% of them. So that's one use case. The last one I'll go into was a fun little dashboarding project that I did relatively recently. We had a client, it was a quick service restaurant, and they had the purpose of their automation was to automate how they remediated customer complaints. And so they needed to find a balance between remediation value and CSAT. And so to break that down a little bit, the flow context is that the user informs that their order had an issue, and then they're offered a number of coupons. And then at the very end of the survey, or at the very end of the solution, they're given a survey about how happy they are. So the business question that this quick service restaurant had, they had understandable fears about automating remediation. What if somebody comes into the bot today, gets $15 in coupons, and goes, "Oh, every time I go to this restaurant, I can get $15 in coupons." So a large part of our automation was doing a bunch of checks, what we would call fraud checks, and checking each user's history with not only the quick service restaurant, but also our chatbot, and then make an intelligent decision about how much to offer them in remediation based on their history, and declining people who are there trying to fraudulently get more coupons. So the question was, how little can we offer while keeping the customer happy? We don't want to offer $30 in coupons every time just because it makes everyone happy, because we'll go broke. But we also don't want to offer 50 cents in coupons if it doesn't make people happy. So where is our sweet spot of remediation offers? And so the way that we answered that is through a dashboard. And I'll actually pull up a widget. I made some synthetic data around this and created a quick widget in a non-existent dashboard, just to kind of show, give a visual to everything that I'm talking about here. So right here, I've got a really, really, really brief, what might be like a dashboard page. And this is for the order issues of missing items. So this is for users who said, "Hey, my French fries were missing, make it right." And so we offered a number of coupons anywhere from $0 to $40. And what I did for this client that they found really empowering was offering a slider of coupon value and seeing exactly how that impacted CSAT results, as well as percent of people who accepted the remediation, as opposed to the people who said, "No, I'm not happy," or the people who just dropped off and disengaged in the solution. So what I can see here is that over all coupon offer values, we are facing about an 87% CSAT. Now, I can look and see very specifically, let's say that we just offer them pennies, right? We offer them kind of chump change. 78% isn't terrible for only getting offered 50 cents coupon, but it's not where our client wants to be. They don't want to be at only 78%. They were aiming for 90% positive CSAT. And so what they can do is they can creep this slider up, and this is all, right now it's synthetic data. For us, for them, it's real data. When they offer $4 to $5, okay, that positive CSAT goes up to 83%. You can see this green slice has grown, but we want more than 56% people accepting, and we want higher than 80% positive CSAT. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we offer users $9 to $10 in coupons. 86% CSAT. Okay, now we're talking. We're getting closer to the area of 90% positive CSAT, and people accepting is a lot higher. Intuitively, let's say $14 to $15 in remediation. We're going to expect this positive CSAT to jump up. It continues to go up, and you can see how in this way, clients can see, what is that sweet spot specifically on a slider. And they can do this same process for every type of remediation flow. So missing items, food quality, delivery was late, and figure out exactly how much you need to offer for each issue in order to appease 90% of your users. So this was a really fun project, and I think that this is kind of an example of making sure that you're getting ROI and important business insights, and not just measuring the chat session. And the last thing that I'll point out about this, and maybe I should have made this a bullet point in my presentation, but is the idea of having data that informs not only your chatbot and how you design it, but informs your entire business. So this is data that can be taken and leveraged outside of the chatbot in their call centers, or let's say they have a way on their website, or you as a client of Pipestreams has a place on your website where you can offer remediation for things like this. This informs their call center agents and the logic that they have on the back end of their web form on their website, exactly how much to offer that makes people happy. And so, this data, I think it's wise to use your chatbot as a pulse on your user base. One, because it's live and you can get it immediately. Two, you don't have to pay people for their opinions. And three, because it just makes sense. It's easy. You're already You're already collecting information. The data is rich, so use it and really expand your business offerings with the chatbot data, not just within your chatbot, but outside of the chatbot as well. So yeah, that kind of concludes, I think, the main ideas that I wanted to talk about. Industry metrics, the limitations that you have on them, the process behind getting set up for successful analytics project wide, and then the paradigms of reporting on a session versus reporting on a user. So yeah, that
Awesome.
is my presentation. I'll
That
stop
was
there.
excellent. Thank you, Rita. I've learned so much just in that, like 20 minutes. That was amazing. We absolutely have questions. So we probably don't have time for all of them, but I'm going to ask one that I thought was really good that came through, which is for certain industries, what data points should we be looking for? Or, I mean, I guess based on what you just presented, is it really industries? But yeah, can you address that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and that's something that I think that a lot of people who are building chatbots, the first thing they want to know is how our competitors have chatbots too. How are we stacking up against them? But yeah, as you inferred, Lauren, I think that the bigger question is how is a specific use case performing, as
Yeah.
opposed to how is an industry chatbots performing. And the reason why is because you know you might be trying to offer different use cases than your competitors, first of all, but second of all, yeah, we have data on a number of industries on your use case, so we're not limited to having to report on just what did this quick service restaurant's escalation rate
Yeah.
equal. That's not going to help you answer. What can help you answer is um, your sign up flow in the quick service restaurant might actually be very similar to the sign up flow of a client of ours in a completely different industry, and we can let you
That's
know
right.
how to optimize that flow as opposed to just optimizing for your industry.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it's more about focusing on that use case versus where your company is actually playing. So that's
yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, the good news is this is one of, I think, three total, right? That we're doing
Yes,
series.
three. That's
Yeah.
what my
So we're
calendar says.
That's like that's amazing. All right. So yeah, this is one of three in our data series. That's gonna help us close out the year. Believe it or not, we're at the last end of 2024, if anybody can believe that. But so you'll see Reid here next month talking about more data related CX solutions. So thanks again, Reid, for your time, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you. Bye bye.